What's up guys, it's Bradley Overrated coming at you with another Overrated review, and today we are doing technically our first classic game, and it's kind of crazy to think that Grand Theft Auto 3 is in fact a classic game, but it came out around 20 years ago, which is just crazy to think about. So without further ado, let's review this game. So Grand Theft Auto 3 is just the game that put Grand Theft Auto on the map. There's, of course, two games that came before this, obviously, but Grand Theft Auto 3 was the most impactful, as this was the first real game that seemed to make the sandbox genre a staple. And in Grand Theft Auto 3, as you can imagine, you can go anywhere you want and essentially kill anyone you want, blow up anything you want, pick fights with anyone you want, fight the cops anywhere time you want. I mean, there's just so much freedom in what you can do in this game. This was the game that also gave us our first ever hooker bang, and if you don't know what the hooker bang is, well, you're probably too young and you shouldn't be watching this video anyways. So, yeah. So one of the other things I want to address is whether or not this game holds up very well, because it is a really old game. How has it aged? And is it like a fine wine? No, but it's, it's a tasty beer. I mean, the camera angles and the fact that you can't move your camera any direction you want's kind of terrible, and there are still some bugs and glitches. For example, if you drive really fast actually through the city, you can see the city itself render before your eyes, not to mention that there is the occasional frame rate drop and some other bugs and glitches. Your character doesn't feel that smooth. He has a hard time climbing up on things. There's just a few random things like that that make you go, no, it hasn't quite aged all that well. But on the flip side, it's still awesome. That's the thing that blew my mind. Like, for example, shooting people feels good. Driving in this game feels great. The missions that you have in this game are very entertaining. The voice acting is superb. I actually, even though the protagonist is a silent protagonist in this game, really enjoyed him as a character, and especially all the other characters you meet in this game. There is so much to still love about Grand Theft Auto 3, even though it's been almost 20 years since its initial release. But if it's one thing about this game that even after 20 years have passed that has aged perfectly and Rockstar did just a tremendous job on, it's the bonus activities and the collectibles. You can play the role of a cop and you can run down enemies and targets that the cops need to take care of. You can be an ambulance driver and try to get people back to the hospital. You can even be a taxi driver, and the best thing about these things is they actually give you bonuses that are useful in the game for doing these side activities. There's also hidden packages that you can collect all around Liberty City, that if you collect 10 of these hidden packages, you are awarded essentially with a weapon at your home base. The collectibles in this game are fantastic. And what's even better about this is the fact that Grand Theft Auto 3 pays its respects to the previous two titles that followed it. Those games were really fun, but they weren't nearly as exciting as this. You had a bird's eye view type of camera, and the majority of your missions could only be accessed through random payphones throughout the city. And this game actually does that as well, which I really like. I like that there's, for example, this guy named Marty who wants to kill his wife for life insurance money, but besides that, the fact that it's just one of those traditional payphone missions is something that, coming from someone who's played the original two Grand Theft Autos, I really appreciate that it still has some of its roots in this game. But enough is enough. I think you get the general idea of how I feel about this game. Even after 20 years, I still think Grand Theft Auto 3 is a fantastic game. Yes, it is rough around the edges, but the core gameplay is still exhilarating. It's still a lot of fun, and there is still so much to love about this game, which is why I give Grand Theft Auto 3 an A-. And the only reason why I don't give it an A is because there are some minor things even back then that weren't that great. For example, right here on the screen, how the lady just can't quite get into the car, so I had to back up. The fact that your character can't swim and can't jump on things properly. The fact that there's just those, frame rate dips and minor bugging glitches. are still, even back on the PS2 days, they were all still there. There were still those problems even back then. But this game is amazing. I still love it to this day, and I recommend you give it a shot if you're a fan of the Grand Theft Auto series. Okay guys, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. It helps me know what you're into. And if you want to see more of my overrated reviews, be sure to click that subscribe button. I do a bunch of random games all the time on this channel and review them. Seriously, I don't know what I'm going to review next. I'm winging it as I go. So if you're into random surprises or surprise mechanics, you know what to do. I am Bradley Overrated, out like a trout. Have a good one.